Welcome back to Everlasting Summer. In the last part, we were going on a hike and having a nice little camp around here. I apologize for missing yesterday's upload. I'm just busy on Thursdays and I didn't record ahead like the stupid me I am. It's also ridiculously hot in my room today. Whatever. Let's hope I don't die during this recording. Only Lena and Elisa stood out from all this splendor. Well, of course, it was quite natural for Elisa to be arguing with someone like that. But hearing Lena talk in a raised voice, I came closer silently, trying to understand what was going on. No, you listen to me. Think whatever you want. I've said everything. It looks serious. Tried as hard as I could not to not attract any attention, and looking like I'm just standing there with no intention of listening to them. There's nothing to think about. Everything is as clear as day. Do not try to wind me around your little finger like that. I know you too well. Why, of course you know everything. She's British. Everyone gains a British accent eventually in this series, apparently. Then why won't you tell him yourself? Lena was getting angry. That alone was really weird, even considering me not knowing the point to their argue. I grew? Actually might be right. Or did I read that? Wait. I'm fucking with my mind. No, it actually did say I grew. Okay. My mind is just like, wait a second. That's none of your business. Elisa snorted, turned around, and met eyes with me. A second later, Lena gave me a look as well. The girls were standing there in confusion for some time. You're eavesdropping? Me? Oh, no. I was just, passing by. Put on the best smile I had, but it didn't seem to help much. Isn't this like the title screen music? By the way, today he was peeping at me. Elisa gave out a malicious smile. Lena looked at me questioningly. First of all, why would she believe in this fox's tale? I didn't peep. You know quite well that it was an accident. Liana should be the one to blame. Sure it was. Tell that to the Marines. Seems like my excuse was not working. Did you like my boobs? Shivers went through my spine. Is that true? Lena looked at me imploringly. Well, you see, it was an accident. I haven't seen anything there. You haven't? Well, I can't repeat. Lisa cried in anger. I didn't know what to say. You see? I told you. No. No. Lena started to mumble and rushed away a moment later. Wait, what happened? I shouted after her. You see what you did? The girl is frustrated now. She gave it a spiteful smile. First of all, it wasn't me who frustrated her. Second, I don't have any idea what you two are arguing about. I was running out of patience. Why should I tell you? Seems like she thought that our talk was over and about to leave. I gripped her hand abruptly. Elisa glanced at me in fear but didn't say anything. I was angry at that moment. Really angry. First, I was widely enraged that Lena was upset because of me, even though I was guilty by implication. Second, I was enraged by Elisa's insolence. Yeah. Third, I was so tired that I could have got out of myself because of any. Wait, what? I was so tired that I could have got out of myself because of any trifle. Happy now? I hissed, pointing into the darkness where Lena ran off to. You only seem to have the guts to explode the memorials and offend innocent girls. She looked frightened, saddened, and confused at the same time. She herself could offend anyone. You just don't know her. The only truth here is that I don't know her too well, but I'm absolutely positive that she can't offend anyone. That's your job. We stood in silence for some time. I held Elisa's hand and didn't know what to do next. The solution dawned upon me all by itself. You should go and apologize. Why the heck would I? Lisa tried to act as puffed up as always, but it just wasn't going to work. "'Cause I said so." I refused to take any objections and dragged her to the side of the bonfire. "Olga, I'm sorry. We have some urgent business to do, so I have to leave early. That just sounds weird if you're walking along with a girl holding her hand." And you tell the camp leader that. The counselor tried to object, but I didn't listen, and headed for Lena, holding Elisa with me. Sometime after, I released her hand. Objections? All the pride and arrogance has left Elisa's face a long time ago. "If you want me to come with you, I will, but I have nothing to apologize for. I told her the truth." "We'll see it then." I've cut her short. We had been walking in silence until we entered the camp. We came to the square and I asked Elisa, "Where do we go next?" "How do I know?" "And who said that knows Lena well?" "I did." "Wait, what?" Elisa hesitated. "Well, she could be at the island. She often goes there when she wants to be alone." "Excellent." We headed to the boat station. The night came down upon the camp while I've been searching for paddles and pottering with ropes. One boat was actually missing. "Okay, today is your lucky day to do several killer exercises for building up your biceps, triceps, and other arm muscles," I said sarcastically. "Are you serious?" Lisa cast a fearful glance at me. Well, perhaps that was a little too rough. Even for her. "Alright, I won't make you row, of course." That hardly sounded confident. Swinging the paddles appeared to be much harder this time. Well, that's not a surprise, considering today I must have used up my annual rowing quota. Stopped in the middle of the river to get some breath. The camp was covered by night. Trivial and ordinary night. It was one of those nights when the dark sky stars and crescent moon don't make you feel anything special, and chirping crickets and twittering birds sound like they're doing a dull routine job, rather than performing an otherwise exciting nocturne. I was staring into the darkness, trying to make out the shaded island. "How did you get to know her?" Lisa shivered a little. "We grew up together," she answered slowly after some hesitation. "And ended up in the same pioneer camp?" What a fabulous coincidence. With all these questions, mysteries, and fears that were so well hidden so far suddenly spawned in my head. Damn, I'm gonna throw her out of the boat and drown her here and now. I can demand answers. Although it could be dangerous unless I'm sure I know what I'm doing. But still, I thought that this time I was playing with white pieces, and thus I could make the first move, and not only parry the blows of the opponent. "So, what kind of camp is it?" Lisa stared at me blankly. Where are we? Where are we? Why am I here?" She kept silent. "Answer me," I shouted. "Hey, what's wrong with you? If you want me to apologize to Lena, I will." That's where I realized how stupid I acted, to say the least. She could simply be uninvolved in all of that stuff. And what's more, one can't lie that plausibility. Lisa's fearful glance was yet another reason to believe her. Sorry. That was all I was able to say at the moment. Yet I wanted to keep my advantage. The last meters were really tough. It doesn't look like it's that far either, though. It looks like a simple swim. Exhausted, I got out of the boat and lay on the cold ground. Lisa was standing nearby, staring at me. I bet she's about to gibe or utter some barbed wit, yet since she remained silent, I assumed she was still shocked or something. Even though it was rather dark here, it would be easier to hide in my old flat than at this tiny island. Furthermore, Lena must have already heard us as we were crossing the river, so by now it's already too late to ask Lisa any more questions, even though I had some. Listen, I looked at her but saw nothing. That was a dark night, and I didn't have the cat's eyes. Well, when we find Lena, you're going to tell her you never wanted to hurt her feelings, and everything that happened in the morning was nothing but a misunderstanding, okay? My voice sounded not that confident as it did a couple minutes ago, yet confident enough. Although Elisa said nothing, it was clear by the look of her face that she agreed. I stood up and we were off to find Lena. Her boat was tied to a snag at the far side of the island. That's very clever of her. One will not see the boat from afar, I mumbled. Well, that means she's somewhere in the trees. Let's find her. I headed to the grove, yet Elisa stood still. What's up? I thought we've discussed everything already. It's not the case. It's just that it's dark in there. Well, god damn it. Held enter again. I had to narrow my eyelids to make out her face. The grove is smaller than my grandmother's daisy garden. What is there to be afraid of? Elisa didn't answer. If you care to know what I'm thinking, I would just gladly leave you here. Never know what trick you're up to. Well, she came very close to me. Let's go like that. She took my hand. I wasn't expecting such an outcome. Why don't I have eyes? Just saying. My cheeks turned red and hot, my breath was taken away, and I could barely see anything. The whole situation didn't favor a conversation, and it's probably for the best, since I doubt I would be able to say anything smart. That's why I can't see anything in the dark. I don't have eyes. Slowly we headed to the grove. In a couple of minutes I regained some control of myself. Come on, there's really nothing to be afraid of. We've been here during the day, gathering some strawberries. No big deal. Just a usual birch grove. It's really nice here during the day, I added after a short pause. Elisa didn't look at me. She was staring somewhere into the distance. Well, it's up to you after all. In several minutes she pointed somewhere in front of us. There she is. I peered into the darkness but could barely see anything. When we came closer, we saw Lena sitting beside a tree. She was crying. Why have you come here? She asked, weepingly. And you? She looked at Elisa, but didn't finish the phrase. That moment, Elisa released my hand. Well, you see, I simply wanted to apologize for being somewhat harsh and rude. Elisa interrupted me. Her voice has regained that usual arrogance of hers. Maybe it's because she didn't want to look weak in front of Lena. What a perfect apology. Not walking the talk, are you? How clever of you to insist that I'm doing a bad thing and then do the same thing yourself. Blah. Lena switched to shouting uncontrollably. Oh, I wasn't shouting. You got it all wrong. I only got what I've seen. You see, girls. You're arguing again, and I seem to be somehow involved in it all, in all that, yet I can't understand a thing. Suddenly happy. Explain it to him, Lena said to Elisa with a grin. There's nothing to explain. Well, maybe you will let me have a try then. Whatever. I just realized I'm probably sounding really similar right now. She crossed her arms on her chest and turned away. Well, then, Semyon. She blamed me for running after you. For a minute there was a complete silence. Lena didn't look like making more explanations, and as for me, I stood still to try and make scattered pieces of puzzle become a whole. What do you mean? Just what I said. It's not like that, no matter what I meant, interrupted Elisa. Of course. You've always been like this. Lena burst into tears again. Wait, how come? So, Lena likes me. And you? What about you? You're trying to convince me it's all wrong while holding his hand. What? So Elisa likes me too? And I thought I was awkward with girls. I saw this like 3 parts in. Oh come on, Elisa actually likes someone? This can't be happening. It's just it was dark over here, and that's so much like you. Ever so arrogant, always trying to control the others, but when it comes to yourself... Elisa didn't answer. I really felt like I had to say something to defuse the situation. Hey, wait. Perhaps we just got it all wrong. It has nothing to do with you. Elisa's voice was oddly estranged. Judging by the conversation, it's exactly about me. Yes, it is. Ask what does she think of you and why she told me not to run after you. I don't think Lena was actually running after me. I'm telling you once again, You've heard enough of your story already. Lena shot up and ran away into the darkness. I stood nailed to the spot, not sure what to do next. If I follow Lena now, what would I say when I find her? After all, I don't even understand what this is all about. My dumbness and silly consolation attempts would only upset her more. Guess we'd better let her stay on her own for some time. That didn't sound very confident. Whatever. Without any further sound, Elisa headed to the boat. The whole way across the river, the boat station was a hell of a ride. I had to stop every 10 to 20 meters to take a break. Elisa was staring at the river and didn't pay any attention to me. Well, that seems to be the first situation here in the camp that is completely beyond my comprehension. Not to say that ultimately it is just a trivial everyday situation. I wasn't that confused even during the all-night expedition to the old camp. After all, if we have a closer look, there isn't anything strange at all. Lena is a very shy and perhaps even enclosed person, yet she's human and can't completely avoid surrounding developments. Considering that, her reaction fits into the situation quite well. Even if I don't get to the source of the quarrel, it's clear as day that the girls would not behave like that if they didn't have a valid reason. And as the things were standing, I was that reason. That is exactly the most strange part of the situation. Hey, I'm sorry it went that way. Only if I wouldn't have overheard your conversation. Seems like I got a pathological need to excuse myself. That is not your fault at all, she said, absent-minded. It's just that you appeared in the right place at the right time and started a mechanism that stood still for a long time. I don't quite get it. Of course you don't. And actually shouldn't right now. You'll get it later. She cast an intense glance at me. Damn it. Why does it always happen to me? Both at school and college, troubles seem to have chosen me as their primary target. Someone blocked classroom doors with a mop. I got a written reproof on my mark book. There was a fight. All things considered, I must have been the instigator. Failed an exam? Well, of course, that's my fault, and the teacher who hates me has nothing to do with it. Even my parents even seem to prefer blaming me than a set of unfavorable circumstances, third parties' involvement, or decree of providence. At some point, I even started to believe that I somehow do attract troubles. Remember Murphy's Law? In my case, it was like, if something nasty is going to happen, it's going to happen to me. For that reason, I always tried to stay out of any trouble where I could become a whipping boy. Well, judging by this day, I'm not really good at it. Seems like you've got an aura of some sort. You do attract attention. Surprised, I looked at Elisa. She was smiling. Looks like she can read my mind. I'm not surprised by that. Troubles, mostly. Who knows? Who knows? And then she proceeded to stab me in the gut 27 times. She sat dreamy and stared at the river. What a wonderful night, isn't it? Just like the other ones, if you ask me. I felt used up. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Just an ordinary night, nothing special. Best moment to make our most admirable camp leader really happy. She has to know that her most favorite pioneer is a nasty pervert who enjoys peeking at naked girls. Something cracked inside of me again. You aren't serious, are you? Why, of course I'm serious. She didn't look like she was joking at all. Well, suit yourself, but don't you think it's not the best... Whoa. But don't you think it's not the best time to do that now? Aren't you supposed to row? I realize that our boat is still drifting amongst the river. Did I say amongst or midst? My mind, I just have to know. Amidst. Wait. Do not escape my question. Let's get back to the camp. I'll have a moment to think it over. Spending the whole night in a boat wasn't something I would strive to do. So I had to apply myself to the paddles. We barely made it to the boat station. I was exhausted, both because of the rowing and Elisa's intention to tell Olga about the morning incident. As far as I know, our camp leader, her reaction is quite predictable. So, you're actually going to visit Olga now, aren't you? Why not? She gave me the most roguish smile. It's night, after all. She must be sleeping already. Who knows? Maybe she will be awake. Come on, you don't understand that it was a coincidence, a mere misunderstanding triggered by Ilyana. No, I don't. She flung her arms up and headed to the camp. Flip table. I gathered all my remaining strength, sprung forward, and followed her. At first I considered grasping her arm, but then realized it wouldn't be such a good idea after everything that happened today. Hold on. I trudged inertly next to her. Let's talk this over. Is there anything to discuss? We silently walked alongside each other for some time. At least she walked slowly, so I had no trouble keeping pace with her, and I was thankful for it. Hey, maybe there's something I can do to convince you not to tell anything to Olga. Not sure, but, well, there is one thing. We came to the square. So what is it? Well, stop running after Lena, for instance. For God's sakes, what makes her thinks I do run after Lena? I started losing my temper. Why should you make up such nonsense? You started that quarrel in the forest because of you. We had to go to that island, and here we go again. Enough is enough. I'm not running after her. Her eyes have turned red. She's been possessed by the devil. Elisa stood still. Bright moonshine lit up her face, showing evident signs of resentment and displeasure. Wait, wasn't her shirt tied up a second ago? Like I don't see how you look at her. How do I look at her? Like that. Like what? You know. She shifted her gaze, but remained standing still. Hey, stop seeing everyone through your twisted imagination. If you can't stop making up nonsense stories, then just keep them to yourself. You don't make others suffer because of you and your stories. I don't care if you pick on me, but now you get Lena involved? I really lost my temper for good, but Elisa didn't answer. We sunk into unexpected silence that was only interrupted by Elisa's sparse sobs. From bad to worse, now you are crying. Have you all gone mad here? I clasped my hands in despair. I can understand why Lena was crying, but seeing Elisa crying is something unthinkable to say the least. I can't even see her reasoning. Any other time I would definitely be shocked, but at that moment I was too tired for that. My head was absolutely void. To be precise, it was too heavy and full so that even a single idea wouldn't have a chance to dwell there. If I would compare my brain at its prime time to a broad highway full of speeders overtaking each other and causing a chaotic giant crashes, then now it's nothing but a forgotten tiny footway in a distant desolate forest, which is only used at times of absolute necessity. Elisa kept silent. At least she stopped crying. If you take it so seriously, go ahead and tell everything to Olga. Hope you'll get relieved. Okay, I won't do that, she said quietly and turned to me. Tears were all gone, but her face seemed to express absolute world sorrow. I'm just feeling hurt. What hurts you? I asked her tiredly. It's always like that. She draws all the attention and always puts me aside. I had difficulty understanding what she was talking about, and decided to play along. I hope she would finally let me alone. Leave me alone. That's not true. You do draw attention, and people do not overlook you. I do not. I raised my eyes and looked at her. Her face expression showed a mixture of amazement and tedious expectancy of something. See? So you... Whoa. So kawaii. Could you... All of a sudden her voice became so tender that I flinched in astonishment. Lisa's face turned red and she hid her sight. So... Do you really think I'm not worse than her? I wanted to say something like, even better, but broke off. Yes, I do. It seems she didn't understand that I say it all absolutely insincerely. Alright, time to sleep. Lisa yelled cheerfully all at once. Now she is more like herself again. See you tomorrow. She waved her hand and ran away. I sighed in relief. Well, it was over for today. All my remaining energy was wasted on a spurt to Olga's cabin. There was no light. Trying not to wake up the camp leader, I undressed quietly and lied down. It is still interesting. What did Elisa mean? Shut up, phone. And Lena? It became totally unclear what is going on with them, and with me, as if we got stuck in some sort of vortex, which started to swirl with a furious power. But what's going to happen next? And where will I be thrown then? Day 6? Yeah, I just went to sleep. Of course it's going to be day 6. Lisa. Okay, hi. I'm guessing I had a dream about Elisa. I woke up early. Olga was still asleep. I stretched and sat up on the bed. I felt surprisingly okay, although I should have slept through the day after what happened the night before. Why is my mouse suddenly way over there? Quietly, not to wake the camp leader, I took the bag with the washing up stuff and went outside. I forgot to look at the clock, but it seemed like 6 or 7 in the morning. The camp was asleep. The grass was shaking the night dew off, a light fog hung above the ground, and the sun was just beginning to break through the treetops. Not warm at all yet, like the fluorescent lamp in the house across from mine. I took a full breath of the cold air, and thought that even a night owl like me can enjoy waking up this early sometimes. The streets of the camp were empty, of course. The water here has always been cold, but today it seemed like they got it from the Antarctic depths. Even my hands went numb from it. Finished with my hygiene, I decided to walk around the camp a bit. Olga is asleep, breakfast is not soon, so there's nothing to do. I came to the square and looked at Genda. That guy doesn't care if it's day or night, he's alert. I smiled to my successful joke and headed to the boat station. As I walked, I hummed some song, absolutely sure I was the only one awake here. To my great surprise, I saw someone sitting at the pier, hanging her feet into the water. Elisa. I came closer and stopped, not sure what to say. Then she suddenly turned around and stared at me. Been standing here long? No. Why aren't you asleep? Why aren't you? She turned back and stared at the river again. Looks like I'm not the only one in a good mood today. At least she wasn't being sassy again. Can't sleep. I see. About yesterday. You get everything, right? What exactly? Oh gosh. My answer didn't seem to count. Alright, I did. I lied. Alright, good. She suddenly looked straight in my eyes and smiled. In that case, I have plans for you tonight. May I ask what they are? You don't need to know. Well, since I'm part of them, you'll know when it's time. Can you give me a hint at least? In the next episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.